babies off. I actually got set up on time today. I just sat down, got set up, got everything done. It takes some time to set up the video and everything else, and then I put my glasses on and they were dirty and I couldn't see shit, so I just cleaned them up real quick. Not that I need them for the snakes, but once people start putting comments through, it's a lot easier because I can't really read without them. So who's here? Say hello. Don't forget, you guys, hit the like button on the video. I'm going to remind you like 600 times. It's important to drive the algorithm to get these videos out there. So make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you drop some comments. Always come back to the video after the live stream is over and leave comments on that as well. Again, that's really, really helpful. We'll flip the camera around once we start doing babies. I set up a little area here for them. And then, we'll just go through the clutch from there and see what we can see. I'm super happy with this clutch. Make sure you hit the comments if you're here. I just want to make sure that this video is working. Sometimes YouTube is a little wonky. So if you're in the chat, hit the like button, submit a comment, let me know you're here, you can hear me, sound is good and all that. And then we will get rolling momentarily here. And we'll wait probably another minute or so, and then we'll start showing some snakes. People can always come back after and watch the stream. I guess we'll put this over here for now. I just don't want any babies. Well, I see somebody's hit the like button. Nobody's dropped a comment yet, but that must mean at least you guys are able to hear me and see what's going on. And I just got a notification from YouTube that I'm live on my own channel, which I assume means it's also sending out notifications to other people. So hopefully we'll get a few more people in here now that people are aware it's going on. I also posted a link to Facebook and to Instagram so that people can come from there. So I'm very, very excited to show these to you guys. Obviously, my paid YouTube members, hey, what's going on? Thank you for leaving a comment. What is that, Wicked Vixen? I like the name. I showed off the first 10 babies that came out to my members only. So they got to see them first before anybody else did, before Facebook, before Instagram. I posted baby number 11 to you guys in the community section. Always make sure you're watching that community section. Sometimes I give stuff away in there. Sometimes I'm just showing off some cool stuff. So I know that YouTube's not always good about showing that section off or telling people anything, so check it out. And also, if, like I said, don't forget to hit that like button if you're in here. Don't forget to drop some comments. But also, if you guys are good with some super chats today, at the end, I'll pull out a box out of the incubator and we'll look at some blood pythons that are sitting there pipped right now that I'm waiting to come out as well. How many clutches do you usually do a season? So it's going to vary per season, and I don't have a set number. I typically want to stay under 100 babies because that's about the point where it gets stressful. It's always stressful with babies. They're dirty animals. They go to the bathroom twice a week generally. They smear it everywhere. It's a lot more upkeep than the larger animals actually as far as volume. Obviously smaller enclosures. But this year I paired 7 females expecting to hopefully get about 4 clutches. Ended up getting 6 clutches. So really, really worked out well. Thank you. Appreciate that the video and audio are good. The only female that didn't go for me this year that I paired up was my Matrix Het T-positive that was paired to the T-positive Batik. She's still eating, still doing her normal thing. I don't think she's going to go this point. She did go late the last time I bred her, but she laid by now. I believe she laid end of July, so she's still within her window, but I haven't seen any signs she's going to go. Obviously, Electra's clutch was a bit of a disaster. I only got 2 babies out of that. I don't have them out here right now, but I can grab them after or something if we have time. I'm going to try to keep this around an hour because the Braves play at 1:35, so I want to watch that. Am I holding any back? Yes. Basically, the whole clutch you're about to look at is pretty much all going to get held back. I have a few select people who are going to get animals out of this clutch, but this is the first time I've done side swipe to side swipe, and to my knowledge, only the second time it's been done. And somebody else may have done it. I don't think Matt J did, and he's one of the main ones that have worked with Sideswipe besides myself and Kara. Kara, I know, did it once, and those babies are kind of, in the wind. I don't really know what's happened with them. I had one, and she did not make it. She passed away at about 4 or 5 years old. She had been bred, and she seemed to ovulate, and then some stuff went on, and all of a sudden she developed a mass and rolled. which was very unfortunate because she was one of my like favorite animals. She was one of those animals that hung out on the couch with me, went out in the yard with me, you know, loved her chin scratch. She was just a great animal. So basically, we know that sideswipe is a dominant gene at least. We don't know anything beyond that, if there's anywhere else to go with it. Will it do things like Ocelot has done or some of these other lines? And so holding these animals back is key to figuring out what's going on here. So all these sideswipes have to be bred at some point to a non-sideswipe animal and see what happens. So like I said, there's a couple that I will be letting go to people that understand what's going on, and those specific people are going to breed those animals to a non-sideswipe animal, and we're gonna work on seeing the results. Guys, don't forget to hit the like button, please. Drive that YouTube algorithm up. We're gonna start taking some babies out, so I'm gonna turn the camera, flip you around. You're gonna look at my ceiling for a second here. So bear with, or actually I guess you're gonna look at my hand. Let me just get this into a good position here. We're gonna flip you around. Got a little setup here on my table. Let me just adjust this a bit. What's up, Brett? Yeah, I haven't done a live in a while. And like I said, if people are nice with the super chats at the end, I will pull a bin of the Bronx out and let you guys see some of the blood pythons that are sitting in their eggs that have pipped. The first blood python came out this morning. It was a T-positive 007. And we're expecting some more. So what you're going to see as I take these babies out is that I'm often going to use the little hook here. It's not because I'm afraid of getting bit. It's because I don't want them to associate me with a negative interaction. And so as long as they associate the hook with that for now, that's fine with me. I don't use hooks with my bloods and short tails. So I don't care if they don't like the hook. Obviously, I'm not using it to torture them or bother them, but it just makes it a little bit easier because you can see already right away this baby is quite defensive. And so if I stick my hand in there and grab this baby, it's going to bite me. It's going to look at me as a negative situation, and I don't want that ultimately. So for right now, while these animals are a little more high strung, this is just a way for me to keep myself away from being the negative force in their life. And then as they get a little more confident and a little more relaxed, then I can start to let them sit in my hands and do things, have short interactions, and work things out that way. So for right now, we just want this to be the negative association. And see, this one's already coming out, so, but you can see very, very unhappy about things. So I'm just gonna do one of these. I'm gonna get the baby down on the table here, and then I will corral it back over here in a second. So this is baby number 1. And as I said, this is Callisto and Atlas. Atlas hatched here in 2017, Callisto in 2016. Sometimes once they're on the move, I can do a little handling. We'll see what happens. But yeah, super nice side swipe here. The neck pattern on a couple of these is a little bit different than I've seen in other side swipe pairings, which gives me hope that there might be a little bit more going on with the side swipe to side swipe. So we're gonna have to wait and see what these babies do once they're bred, but nice dorsal striping. Obviously, I don't want the baby to fall off the edge of the table, so that's important. And I'm sorry, I know he's getting out of shot right now, but my priority is making sure that they stay safe. But you can see not overly defensive now that the baby's out of the tub. And sometimes these snakes do a lot better once they're out and about because they're not on the defensive so much. Once they start moving on their own, they're more accepting of being touched in this way. And I'm not grabbing the baby, restraining the baby, doing anything that's making it feel like it's threatened. Right now, it's just like, oh, the ground's moving. It doesn't really know much other than, you know, what's gone on so far, because obviously it's a newly hatched baby. The whole world is new right now. Let me see if I can flip it around to the other side here a little bit. But you can see very healthy, very mobile. Once again, I don't want it to go too far. All right. And you can see how they move on this surface, because this is not an easy surface for a snake to move on, especially the snake is wet as well. I don't want to spend too much time on each baby, obviously, because we want to get you out of here in about that hour window. But this is baby number 1, Haven't sexed anything yet, so we don't know what it is. I'll do that down the line. I like to do a couple of feeding trials first before I start really messing with them. But check out that dorsal striping. Just an absolutely gorgeous animal. Lots of potential here. Obviously, I like the side swipe stuff. It's kind of the core of what I work with Borneos. So once again, guys, if you're enjoying these snakes, don't forget to show them a little love with the like button. Let me get out baby number 2 here. And I'm sorry, I might miss some comments. Obviously, my attention is mostly focused on wrangling the animals themselves right now. And so these babies started hatching. I just received the notice and tuned in. Awesome. Thank you, Carrie. Dan, what do you do for your baby racks? I built my own. Do you use a certain company? So my baby rack that I actually like better than this one, I don't know where it came from and I can't find any record of it. It drives me nuts. The only record I can find is the day I received it on Facebook in my memories. I can't find a receipt anywhere in PayPal. I can't find a receipt on any of my bank accounts, credit cards. All I remember was it was a company in Texas. And then this rack I actually got used, I think, from Corey in Rhode Island. And I don't even know who made it. But let's get baby number 2 out here. Come on. I know, life is tough. You'll be all right. Get you on the table and then we can start messing with you. Get your water back in here. And so obviously all the babies at this stage are kept wet. And I will keep them wet at least a month. Most people keep hatchling pythons wet until their first sheds. In the case of bloods and shorttails, they don't have their first shed for 3 to 6 months. So whereas ball pythons, retics, berms, things of that nature, all shed typically within the first 2 weeks of their life, these guys are not like that. So if you were to, cut them off and keep them dry after a week or two, probably not a good idea for a multitude of reasons. One, baby shorttails, for whatever reason, are not really great about seeking water out, so they can often dehydrate. So by keeping them wet and on water, all they have to do is put their mouth down and they can drink. Obviously, you don't want it so deep that they can't rest and relax, but enough to where if they push down on the paper towel a little bit, you'll have a certain level. I don't want to scare this baby here, but you got a certain level of saturation there so they can get into the water, but they can relax and sleep and do everything without having to hold their head up. So it's a nice mix of that. Obviously, another nice side swipe here, good striping. This one's got a little bit of a different neck pattern than the other one. Some similarities, and let me see. I think this one's a little bit more high strung, but let's see. Like I said, my whole goal is not to get the animal to bite. Oops, see, a little nervous there. Because once they strike, that means that you've stressed them past a point that they feel they can handle. And that's not something I really want them to do to me. If they strike at the hook, which is rare, not really a huge deal. Thank you, Carrie, I appreciate that. It's not a big deal, like I said, if they have a negative outlook on the hook right now, because I don't typically hook these snakes past, doing this kind of thing. So, typically if you move slow and you're relaxed and whatever, you can do all right. Just no quick movements, no grabbing and manipulating them in a way that makes them nervous. Don't flash shit in front of their face. These are very, very reasonable short-tail babies, this clutch. So even the ones that are kind of jerks in here are not bad. Hopefully you guys are getting a good view of these babies. Last year or year before or whatever, I did a clutch outside and the sun really made it difficult to see. And I couldn't see the camera very well, so I couldn't tell how the animals were in the shot. I'm trying my best to keep them in the shot here and out of shadow. And then it's hard to watch the camera and watch the animal and feel the animal's behavior. But this animal right now is nervous, but not overly so. They are very, very pretty. I'm very, very happy with this clutch. And this isn't nothing yet. Just wait until we get a little further into this clutch because there's some wild babies. One thing to note, I incubated this clutch half and half a little bit differently. So they actually hatched over the course of about a week because the second bin I hatched at a lower temperature. So the last baby just came out about a half hour ago. And the first baby hatched on Monday the 25th. So baby 1 was on the 25th. I don't remember if this one was the 25th or 26th. But just really, really cool stuff going on here on the sides. And I guess this one does kind of have the neck pattern similar to that last one. It's really hard to show their neck off because I can't manipulate the head that much, but you can see some of that speckling and dots down there. Just a little bit different than what I've seen in some of my other side swipe stuff. But obviously really nice clean stripes here. Let's move on to baby number 3. So obviously baby number 1, baby number 2, both side swipes. Baby number 3 is a little different. Let me get baby number 3 out here. So baby number 3 has a kind of a nice orange head, which is a surprise because neither parent have orange heads. Now grandma Electra does a little bit. So it could just be coming in from that line, even though Callisto didn't necessarily show it. Now you can see right off the rip, this baby looks a little bit more defensive than the last two. Just by posture, the way it's holding itself, it's not as settled and moving around as much. A lot of people see the moving around as nervous, but a lot of times they're actually more relaxed when they're moving. This one is holding position because it's not sure how to react right now. So we might be able to touch it a little bit and get it on the move, but you can see it flattening out here into a defensive posture. If I stick my hand close to this baby, it's going to fire. No questions asked at all right now. But very cool. And like I said, this is possibly a lower expression side swipe. And what that means is if you look on the sides here, it's not clean all the way around. I don't think this animal is, but with the lower expression stuff, it can be a little hard to tell, short of breeding the animal to be absolutely sure. And the other side of the animal, if I can get it to turn around here, I know, life is really tough right now. Kind of the same thing. I'm trying to get this baby on the move, so maybe it'll relax a little bit and maybe we can pick it up. Let's see. Once again, my biggest thing is I don't want the animal to feel threatened by me. I don't care if it feels threatened by the hook. I don't want me to be the threat. So this is the moment where we have to be careful because this animal is a little bit more nervous. But you can see the pretty orange head. Still has a pretty good dorsal striping. The good news is right now the animal's focused on my face. So it's still considering me a threat, but it's not paying attention to my hands at the moment. It's paying attention to my face. So as long as I keep my face pretty far away, we should be okay. Oop. Got a little bathroom break there. That's that nice yolky goodness coming out. Nice stuff, but very, very pretty animal nonetheless. Still valuable asset to the project. I'm still very, very upset with my existence right now, so we're just gonna go ahead and put this one back so I can clean this mess up. But like I said, that's baby number 3 there. Maybe you can see it a little better in the container. Really, really cool. Only a couple of these came out and were not sideswiped. Give me a second to clean this up. That's why I'm prepared. And that's why I put this thing down on the table. One, shows off the babies a little bit, you know, with just a white background instead of the multicolors of the kind of wood underneath. And 2, easy to clean. I forget where I got this roll of stuff from, but it's come in handy for a lot of random stuff. Clean my hands up a little bit because I got peed on a little there too. Let's get baby number 4. Baby number 4 looks like it's tucked way back in. Now baby number 4, just the position it's sitting in the tub, already looks annoyed with life. So we're gonna try to get this baby out of here. Oh yeah, see? Very annoyed with life. You can just tell with short tails when they're not happy. This is one we might not be able to grab in hand, and I've got to be careful it doesn't throw itself too much at me and end up falling off the table. So you can see this baby's very defensive, moving towards me in a defensive posture right now. Nice side swipe, a little bit more of a broken dorsal stripe than some of the others. And we'll see what happens here as I try to maneuver this baby a little bit. But you see how the focus is not changing? It's not even paying attention to the hook. This animal's watching my face and my eyes because that's what it feels as a threat. Even right out of the egg, these animals are smart enough to understand how predators work and what's dangerous. Hello from Italy, thank you. Don't forget, guys, hit that like button. I see a few people in here and only 3 likes so far. That's very, very low. So don't forget to do that for me, please, for the algorithm. We're about 20 minutes in, so we got to keep breezing through here. But yeah, this is the most defensive baby so far. And they all have different personalities out of the egg. Some of them come right out of the incubator and you can pick them right up and they're chill and they hang out with you. Other ones are just nuclear mad about everything. This is definitely one that's a little bit more angry. But I love the way it's keeping focus, and see, it's moving itself to keep itself focused where it feels it needs to. But we'll give you a little look at the other side of this animal here. Beautiful animal, beautiful eyes. I really like the clean sides, of course, and I love the side swipe gets that white down coming from underneath. As they get older, that kind of goes up underneath the animal and you don't see it as much, which kind of stinks. I would love to get an adult animal that keeps that, and there is one in this clutch that I think will. A little bit different, but we'll talk about that when we get to that animal. But we're going to put this one back right now because this one is obviously pretty stressed about life. And so what I'm going to do is try and use the bin here to scoop it a little. And if not, I'll just roll it off the edge. Come on. Oh, I know, life is tough. You'll be fine. So that's a baby that's just going to need more time than some of the others to relax and get used to things. But that's why we keep hands off and let it decide when it's ready to do things. Now this is another one that's got kind of an orange head, and also once again side swipe. This one, I don't remember personality wise how this one is, so we will find out on the fly here. Really cool animal. I love the strong dorsal striping and then the secondary striping that you kind of get with side swipe, and then it melts into different colors. And unfortunately, no matter what lighting you use, Borneos don't film well or picture real well. So it's very hard, but amazing snakes. And let me see how this one's being. So this one has more of what I'd consider the standard side swipe neck pattern. So the swipe always goes about 3/4 of the way up the animal, and then it breaks into that neck pattern that you see there. But those first couple of animals, if you remember, the kind of black splotching was much smaller and much more intense, which I have not seen before. This is typically more of what I get here. This animal still has a glow about it that's coming from mom's line. And I'm really happy about that because I love Callisto's color and I love Grandma's color in Electra, which is where that color comes from. So hopefully this animal is going to be a real spectacular adult. But the neck pattern is much more what I'm used to. That peach spilling into the pinks are nice. I haven't gotten a lot of that on the side swipe stuff before, but I definitely like it. This baby is definitely on the defensive side, but not as bad as the last one. Still watchful, but not as distrusting. If I were to reach at this baby and grab it, almost certain it would strike. This one may tolerate sitting in my hand once I hook it off the table. We can see how it reacts to the first initial hooking here. It's a pain in the ass getting baby short tails up when they're flat like this. So this right here actually is a good thing to talk about. This position that this animal is a very classic defensive pose for these short tails. And what it is it's kind of like a loaded spring. So this animal can easily spring this direction and get me, or it can spring back the other way and use its body, kind of just throw it as like almost a rubber band. And so at this point in time, there's no point of that animal's body that it can't defend. So if I were to touch that animal's tail, it can get there very quickly. If I were to reach all the way around and get the backside over there, the animal can get there very quickly. From this position, which kind of looks like a bass clef or something, they can hit you anywhere. So it's a very strong defensive pose for them. And it's something that they will often do, especially as babies when they're nervous. If an adult does this, it's a bad day because they are a pain in the ass to deal with. Yes, thank you for asking people to smash the thumbs up. I appreciate that. Keep the comments coming. And like I said, if we see some super chat action at the end of the video, I'll go ahead and pull those brongs out. If not, you'll have to wait until they come out on their own. I'm going to try to just scoop this baby because it's getting more and more nervous and I don't want it to fall. So we'll just scoop it right into its bin and it should go back nicely, which it is. And we'll put this one back in the rack and get to the next one. We got to keep moving, keep moving. We're already 25 minutes in. All right, baby number 6 looks different than all the rest. So this baby is what I would call kind of more of a classic ultra. For me, this is not my favorite ultra look. I like the cleaner ultra looking stuff. This is a little more of a dirty ultra, I guess you could say. Trying to get this one out of here. There we go. So this baby, like I said, very classic ultra. Let me get him into the shot a little better here. Sorry, bud. Pretty classic looking ultra here. You know, the very like broken up pattern, the big black splotches going up the top. A lot of ultras seem to get kind of that Morse code looking striping going down the back, at least that I've seen. You can get very solid striping with ultra stuff, but usually that's in the cleaner ones. Once again, from what I've seen in my experience with them. And, you know, so this is an animal that if you looked at it quick, you might not even see the ultra unless you kind of were used to it. But I do, like I said, I see it in all that stuff there, all that splotching and the striping. Let me see if this baby will stay on the move or turn to fight. But yeah, nice. You see all the splotches on the side, all that black spots going up there, kind of near the dorsal, but not quite. Just really cool baby. This one I don't see any side swipe in. So this is an animal that, you know, from this clutch I could let go potentially. I do like the neck pattern a lot. Sometimes with ultra, it can kind of compete with the pattern to a certain extent and kind of get a little confusing. In this case, I don't really see the side swipes trying to break through, even though you see some of that side pattern there that kind of looks like the lower expression animal. In my opinion, I just don't see enough of it to consider this animal as that. Try to flip it around here so you can see the other side. You can see, I mean, these babies are being very reasonable overall. Had 2 that I haven't picked up yet. And that last one I think I could have with some time, but we're kind of trying to rush through this, so I don't necessarily have a lot of time to do that. So number 7, we're going back into some side swipe stuff here. Number 7 also looks a little bit irritated out of the gate. So we'll see how that goes. And number 7 has changed a lot already in the matter of a couple of days. So this baby's an interesting one. When it first hatched, thank you, Nameless Collector. I appreciate that. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't already. We got way more people in here than have hit it. So this one's weird because it looks a lot like a white wall ocelot. And there are some people that have thought sideswipe and ocelot were similar genes or somehow related. And I've never really felt that way until this moment. I still see some differences, but like the side here is very similar to that. And so is this tail area especially, where you see like very high white coming up. And this is not the animal I was talking about maintaining that. Look, it's got the ocelot attitude too. But this real solid black through here, contrasting with that white, that's something that you see in a lot of the white walls. Let me see how cooperative this animal wants to be. Not very. Come on. Oh, okay. Well, I'm trying to show you the tail here, so maybe you can see it a little bit more, but all that white down the bottom, that's something we see a lot in that ocelot stuff. And of course the animal's moved out of the shot pretty well here. We can zoom in a little bit. So yeah, you see that real white there. So that animal, and like I said, it's already changed a little bit in a matter of days, and these animals do that. It's really crazy. You go in 2-3 days from now and they're gonna look different again. It's really wild how much they change, even without a shed cycle. Especially color up wise. So from like hatch the first 2 weeks, you'll see a lot of like varying degrees of color and things. It's really kind of cool. And they'll change throughout their life until about, I don't know, maybe 2.5 to 4 years old. They'll kind of settle into what they're finally going to look like. And it's really interesting to watch. Like Orion was a lot darker like this when he was younger, and he's gotten much lighter. He was actually darker than this. Atlas has changed a tremendous amount. Callisto came on really strong with color, and Astra is one that has stayed pretty uniform. Let me see if I can get this baby off the table without a fight here. It's a good sized short tail baby right there too. Yep, here you go, your bin's right here. Go on, you slug. Come on. Yep, I know, don't get mad. Hey! Oh, shit, on the floor. Borneos are a pain in the ass when they flop. It's really hard to prevent. Once they decide they're gonna flop, they flop, and sometimes they don't stop, and they will absolutely hurt themselves. So it's kind of important when you handle them, and he's really swimming right now. It's important when you handle them to do so on a surface where they're not going to get hurt. I did lose one a few years ago, flopped, and actually this is the very rack that killed it. It hit its neck on the way down perfectly on this rack and did not make it until the next day. Let me wipe the table here a little bit, which really sucked. It was a holdback. It was an animal I really liked. Didn't usually flop, and one day I opened the tub and it just got spooked, and I didn't even touch it yet or anything. It flopped from inside the tub and just flipped into the air. And these Borneos will do that. All short tails can flop like that, but Borneos absolutely are the worst about it and do it the most frequently. So you have to be really careful, especially when handling them, feel their body language, and pay attention. So this is another side swipe, but this one's interesting because it's the tail of two sides. So this side here is pretty classic side swipe, pretty classic neck pattern, the nice clean sides going down, the white coming up. Nice dorsal striping too, but the other side of this animal is quite different. Let me see, I don't want to piss it off too much, but I want to turn it around. So the other side of this animal is much more of a lower expression side, and not low expression like some of the others we've talked about, but you see a little bit busier neck pattern, and then you see how it's broken up going down, but still very, very indicative of the side swipe stuff, just different. And so that's cool. You know, to have one side be so classic and one side be lower expression really makes it interesting. Because I don't think I've had that very much in the past. Astra might be the closest. But even her, she's a little bit more uniform on each side. This baby's kind of in between right now. It does not seem overly defensive, but it does seem in a position where it could get triggered fairly easily. So what we're going to do is come up underneath a little bit here. We'll give it a little bit of a pickup and just kind of read the body language. Okay, body language is pretty good right now. A little bit more rigid than some of the other ones, but not bad. And not rigid enough to where I'm worried right now that it's going to flop. It's really hard to describe, but you can just feel it. They kind of charge up and start to like get rigid and put energy in a little reserve when they're going to flop, when they're in hand. It's harder to tell when they're on the ground. You just kind of have to really learn to read their eyes and their body language. But when they're in hand, you can really, really feel it. You'll feel all of a sudden they'll get really, really stiff and rigid. And that's when they're getting ready to just unleash a big flop. And the rigidness kind of signals that they're getting nervous. This baby right now is not very nervous at all. Doing really, really well. Just moving through, doing its thing. Now that doesn't mean that this baby can't turn and bite. Something can't trigger it. But usually once you kind of have them thinking and they're comfortable enough to be on the move now, it just stopped and it's gotten a little bit more rigid, but not scary rigid, where it's ready to flop. It's just kind of thinking and figuring things out. Really, really cool animal. Thank you guys for hitting that like button. Much appreciated. Let's move on here. So that again was baby number 8. So we are halfway through the clutch. So those first 8 babies were incubated a little bit warmer than what you're about to see. Now we'll have to see what long-term effects happen, if there's any effect in color or pattern or anything from the different incubating temperatures. And I didn't keep them incubating exact, but the second half of this clutch, I incubated about 2/3 of incubation at a lower temperature. And then for the last 15, 20 days, I've put them up more around the temperature of where the other one was done. And we're not talking about a huge degree here. We're talking about 86.5 to 88.5 degrees. But I will say that the back half of this clutch, as of right now, does look a little bit different. We'll see. Now this baby was very, very friendly when it hatched, but after a couple days, sometimes they'll settle in a little bit more and all of a sudden decide things that they thought were cool are now scary. But we'll see what happens here. Oh, I know. Well, you fell. I didn't make you fall. Come on. All right. Yeah, so far, oh, yeah, see, now he's gotten more floppy and nervous. When this baby hatched, he was so completely cool. And this baby's changed a great deal as well. When this baby hatched, he looked much different than he does now. And it's hard to describe. He just had a different glow and hue about him. Him or her, I don't know yet, obviously. I'm just saying him. But yeah, much more nervous right now. Look at that position, head position, body position. You can see the heavy breathing. So, I mean, when this baby hatched for the first 2 days, I could just pick it up right out of the tub, hang out with it, crawl through my hands, rub its chin. It was really cool. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes it's just kind of the whole world is new. It's in like a state of shock. Everything is a bit overwhelming. And so they just don't react. And now that it's had several days to settle in, now it's nervous. Now all of a sudden it's settled into this environment. Now this is something outside of what it's known for basically the entirety of its life, which is only a few days. So don't judge their personality coming out of the incubator as what they are going to be. That's not the way it works, unfortunately. Some of the mean ones are fine within a couple of days, you know, whatever. Oh, look who it is. Welcome, Elijah. So happy to see you. The 50 Shades of Brown. Such an asshole. But yeah, so this one's changed a tremendous amount here. And both in personality and looks. If you guys are in the Blood Pythons group, this is actually the baby I posted in there on Facebook. You can go take a look at the pictures after the video's over, and you'll see how much this baby has changed. But you can see real nice clean sides on the inside. The outside is a little bit more broken up right here, but not bad. But yeah, it's just crazy to see a snake that was so good get so nervous so quickly. Not crazy to see, but it kind of stinks because I was hopeful that he was going to maintain his super chill, laid back personality. Hi, bud. You gonna come say hi? Do you come in peace? You were not being peaceful before. Come on. Here, come on. No? We got to move through this, man. We got more babies to get to. Come on. Be as mad as you want. Here. Now apparently he's calmed down a little bit. Interesting. Maybe he just needed a minute before. I just don't want him to flop and fall off the table, of course. That's the biggest thing. Come on. Yeah. I guess he just had a moment, but still really awesome baby. Love the back on him, the dorsal. Especially through there where it breaks up a little bit and has kind of that cool color. So definitely a cool animal. Let's get on to baby number 10. So baby number 9 came out and I said, oh man, this is my favorite baby. And then baby number 10 came and I'm like, I don't know, maybe now baby number 10 is my favorite. And baby number 10 is similar to baby number 9, but a little bit different. Come on, let's go. Let's go. A little more defensive animal out of the gate here. You can see those tongue flicks. Tongue flicks like that are usually a pretty good indication the animal's nervous. Just the way it's flicking its tongue, the way its head's held, the look in its eyes. Another really, really cool side swipe animal here. I really love the neck pattern on the dorsal there, and just kind of the way that the colors are working together. And it's really cool because as much as Elijah shits on the 50 Shades of Brown, there really is a lot of shades of color going on in this animal. And it's muted from like the ultra, but it's really, really cool how you get white to kind of a more sandy tan color to that cream color back to like a more traditional brown around the neck there. And then the solid stripe down the back, other than obviously that little spot there. Really, really cool pink cheeks in this animal, which doesn't really ever show up on video. As I said before, Borneos don't really show up well. It's unfortunate. It's the way it is. I wish they showed up better because that pink down the side of their face is really incredible. Are you feeling like playing with the class, or are you feeling like being rude? You are pretty rigid. Not terribly rigid, but rigid enough. But yeah, just really, really cool animal here. Love the color on the side of the neck there and how that stripe kind of See if I can, sometimes it's hard to get them to turn the way you want, but how it kind of changes as it goes down the side and gets lighter and lighter. This animal is still a little nervous right now. As you can see, it's in a position right now, breathing heavy. So we're gonna put it back before it flips out too much here. But, you know, and that's the biggest thing, is just trying to limit them from freaking out, especially in hand. You know, if it freaks out over the hook, once again, I don't really care. But if it freaks out in hand, that's gonna leave a negative impression with that animal. You're gonna have to work that much harder when it's time to build a relationship with the animal, when it learns to distrust you from an early age. People have different opinions on that. Some people, this one's definitely not happy. Some people will handle these animals and basically flood them and just get them to kind of give up on life and not care if you kill them. That's not something I do with my animals. I want these animals to build a relationship with me of mutual respect and trust. And violating that trust out of the gate is not a good way to build that relationship. I don't want this animal to flop. If I touch that tail, it might. There we go. Get you on the move there. Another cool side swipe animal here. We are up to baby number 11. This is the one that I posted on the community section. And I may have missed some comments here. Let me just double check. I did not. Still no super chats, guys. If you guys want to see those brongs, I got to see something here. Somebody's got to bite the bullet. And then, come on, turn. This one's got a really cool neck pattern. Okay, that tongue where it just stopped and froze like that, that is getting ready to strike. That is when the animal is very annoyed. So you're always paying attention to that. When you see the tongue partially out and frozen, they do that at basically 2 times ever. One is when they sense food and they're stopping and they're just trying to kind of hold their position, or 2, when they're sick of your shit and they're coming. So those are the 2 times that you'll see that tongue frozen. A frozen tongue sticking out like that usually means stay away from that animal's head for a couple of seconds. Give it some time to reconsider what's going on, because if you push forward at that point, 99% of the time they're taking a swing. Right now it's back to annoyed tongue flicks, but not terrible, but it is thinking about taking a shot at the hook right now. See that? The way it's backing up and just annoyed. So we're not going to pick that one up right now in this position. If I move the animal, there's a chance that maybe he'll get on the move or she'll get on the move and kind of break out of that pattern. But right now this animal looks pretty high strung and upset. So we'll just be very, very gentle, and good tongue flicks right now. I want to try to show off the neck on this animal too, if I can. Love the dorsal striping. It's so hard to like maneuver them at this age without upsetting them. So sometimes it's hard to show stuff off. I want to show off without scaring or upsetting the animal, but I love that black going down the side of the chin, back. Really, really cool. This animal doesn't have a lot of the black contrast down near its tail, just a little bit, but still a cool animal. Definitely a valuable part of this whole project we've got going on here. So we'll put this guy back, or girl. Okay, let's not swim. No swimming. Flat hand at this age, as long as it's there before they're there, is usually a pretty good deterrent. If you move it in a little too late, you might get a little slap with some teeth. Oh, the next one's flying out on its own. This one's ready. Question is it ready to be friend or foe? Right now, it's not sure. So we might be able to come in here and encourage it out a little. There we go. Oh, all right. Oh, no flopping. No flopping. All right, let me move this. So this animal is a pretty cool animal as well. You know, got a lot going on. It's a little unsure how it wants to conduct itself right now. Let's see if we can't reel it back in here and get it to calm down a bit. Really, really cool. Like most of this clutch. The way it moves makes me a little bit nervous. It's a little bit wonky. So we'll keep an eye on that. Could just be nerves right now. Could be a couple other things, but we'll see how this baby develops and how it does. But like I said, that movement does make me wonder a little bit if there's anything going on potentially with this animal. Obviously, it's very alert. It's getting to where it wants to go. But just the nature of how it moves its head, you know, leaves me a little bit curious. So we'll see. These animals haven't overheated or anything. There's been no problems along incubation. So I'm not worried about anything in that regard. I have multiple probes and things going in my incubator, so I know my temperature's solid in there. We did have a heat wave where the incubator did get a little bit hotter than I would like, but not to a dangerous point of the animals, which is why I tend to incubate at the 86.5 to 88. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room if things do get hot. You know, you can go up to 90 and you shouldn't have any issues. But once you start getting north of 90, I start to get a little bit concerned. So the incubator did hit 89 at one point this year, but that was the hottest. So not hot enough to cause any issues, but hotter than I would ideally like. All right, so we just went through that one. So hold on, 3, 6, 9, 12, we're on to 13. Lucky 13. Hi 13, what mood are you in? 13 is in a I don't know mood yet. Let's see, let's get 13 on the table here. No 13, you may not pass. Oh, you guys can't even see. Just got my hand in front of it, but I'm gonna try to back it off with that. This is 13, another nice side swipe animal. It's funny because usually when you do side swipe, you expect to get about half. Obviously doing side swipe to side swipe has increased the odds like you would see in a lot of other things. But I did not expect the odds to be this good. I figured maybe I would see 10 or 11 side swipe animals at most. And I think there's 13 in the clutch that are absolutely and one maybe. I could be wrong on that number, but I'm pretty sure that's it. But this animal is very clearly side swipe. It's very clearly a little annoyed with me right now. As you can see, huffing and puffing, paying attention to what I'm doing. Real nice dorsal stripe. You can see it's thinking about biting my hand right now. And these animals have a pretty incredible strike range. Even as adults, they have an incredible strike range, but babies will literally levitate. I've had a baby that was sitting on the ground like this get over a foot in the air and get me in the hand. And I wasn't even reaching for the baby. I was reaching for something else that happened to be over the tub it was sitting in on the floor. And I was impressed. That thing sprung up there and got me right in the palm of the hand. So it was pretty cool to see. But obviously, like I said, I try to avoid getting bit because I don't want them to have that negative association, but sometimes it's going to happen. And you can't like completely avoid it, because if you completely avoid it and, you know, are clearly nervous or herky-jerky or make maneuvers like that, you're going to make the animal nervous. So you've got to have some level of confidence, but you don't want to be threatening either. Let's see. Oh, I might have missed my window on this one here. Oh, no, I got it. Real nice side color here. Real nice dorsal pattern. Very excited. Sorry, I'm not keeping it in the shot. Like I said, it's hard to watch the video, watch the animal. Make sure the animal stays safe is my priority one. Sorry to you guys. But they learn pretty quickly to be tolerable animals with a little bit of careful handling, and letting them dictate the pace is one of the best ways to kind of get these guys to settle down. Very quickly with most of them, nervousness will turn to curiosity if you stoke that curiosity and kind of allow them to decide it's their idea. So letting them crawl out of the bin on their own, for instance, almost dropped them there. You see that nice clean sides. Really does help. Guys, if you're new in the room, just coming in late, don't forget to hit that like button, please. All right, 13, we're on to number 14. No. 14 is a really interesting baby that's already changed a tremendous amount. And so I'm curious to see how the tail has colored up on this baby, because when it hatched, it was insane. One of the coolest snakes I've hatched to date. And this is a, and its tail has changed a tremendous amount already. So, you know, yesterday its tail was very, very white. It's still pretty white today, but it's gotten a little bit more color. This is an interesting animal because I see a lot of ultra in this animal, from the way the side pattern is and the neck pattern, but I also see a lot of the side swipe. And so with some of the animals, I think there's ultra and side swipe in there where they're not really competing for the pattern. The ultra affected more the color and the side swipe kind of cleaned up the pattern. In an animal like this, they really seem to be competing for pattern supremacy a little bit more. And so you see the side swipe trying to kind of wipe the sides out, but the ultra really fighting to get some of that speckling in up from the belly and to get some of those darker spots in there. And then on the neck, you really see it to me where you've got the busyness of the ultra with that kind of solid splotchiness of the side swipe there. Just a really, really cool animal. And he was another one that was really friendly when he hatched, which I believe was yesterday. So let's see what we can do here. I may not even need the hook. Yeah, no, he still seems to be in an all right state of things. He's getting a little swimmy. But see on the side there where, you know, you get a lot of that side swipeness, but there's also like that ultra kind of funky pattern in the neck on this animal I just think is really, really freaking cool. I was really hoping this was going to stay really, really bright white. It's changed a little bit already, but it's got kind of that ultra ghost kind of classic coloration back there, which is really, really cool. I really like this animal, so he's one, or she's one, that I'm excited to see what happens to. Getting a little swimmy. You're fine. Let's not have a moment. All right. Like I said, when you're used to these animals, you can start to feel it. Sometimes you can even sense it before it's like the animal knows it's coming. You can just sense right now the way he's frozen, like his wheels are turning and he's deciding, is this a bad situation or not? He made himself a nice bracelet yesterday. He crawled around and held on in my hand. It was really kind of cool. But excited to see where this baby goes, how it develops. This is one of those ones that as an adult could be a really wicked looking animal, or it might dull out a little bit, and it's always going to be cool with the pattern, but the coloration is where the question is, which way is it going to go? And it'll shed and look like it's going to go one direction, then it'll shed and go the other direction. It'll go back and forth for a while and really kind of confuse you, and then all of a sudden one day they finally settle into that adult coloration, and then you know what you got. Let's get this one back in here. And it just happened to work out. I loaded these bins in the tub, and they had an old labeling system, and he is number 14, and the old label on the bin is number 14, so it's kind of cool. I didn't do that on purpose. It just happened that way. All right, I need that tub, though it gets stuck. Number 15. Number 15 came out this morning. So this baby and I have not really had any kind of interaction short of just yanking it out of the incubator this morning, giving it a little bath. So I would imagine this one's still thinking I am not to be trusted. So far it's not cooperating with coming out of here. Come on. All right, ain't nobody got time for this shit. Oh, it seems to be all right. Oh, all right, all right. So another nice side swipe. Got a lot of the ultra influence in the neck pattern here that I see, along with the dorsal there. If you didn't see the side swipe here, if you couldn't see that animal side, the top third of this animal looks like, you know, a VPI Ultra. If you've ever seen, you know, the stuff Josh Ortiz produces with his VPI Ultra stuff, the top third of that animal looks like it's off of one of his babies. But this is the difference, is that side swipe there that's cleaning that up. Are we going to play nice, or are we going to play jerk store? You are in the jerk store mode. Come on. Come on. Let's play nice for the people on YouTube. Okay, see? You're fine. So yeah, the top of that animal, very, very ultra. Once again, guys, if you don't mind, hit that like button. I'm going to keep reminding you. I'm going to annoy you. This is baby number 15 of 16 from Atlas to Callisto, side swipe to side swipe. Really, really cool clutch overall. Really, really happy with these animals. Very excited to see how they develop. Get them feeding, get them through some first and second sheds, and start to kind of see what's going on here in the long term. And, you know, 3 to 5 years from now, I'll be breeding some of these animals and get a little bit more answers. I don't rush my girls. Typically, a lot of my girls don't breed until they're at least 4 or 5, some 6 years old, or when they're finally laying their first clutch. I think it's better for them to develop a little slower, let their body fully mature, and I seem to have good success with it, so I'm not going to change that method for the time being. Males I worry about a little less, but usually at least close to 2 years old. Sometimes my males don't start breeding until 4. It's kind of up to them. They mature when they mature. You can only do so much. Ooh, we got a little swimmy there. Little tail swimming. But yeah, that back line right there looks very VPI Ultra. Really, really classic look. Let's get to baby number 16 here. Somebody gonna bite the bullet and hit that super chat and get a chance. You guys are pretty quiet in the chat here. Not really saying much at all. Not asking many questions. All right, come here. No, I don't want an international event. Let's go. Back in the tub. Back in the tub. Oh, yeah. All right. On to 16. 16 just came out of the egg right before this video. And I mean right before this video. I've been waiting for this one to come out of the egg. It was loitering. I threatened to Jay Brewer it, but I didn't exactly do that. But I did notice it was done with yolk absorption and kind of encouraged it to come out because it was time. So, I mean, this one is brand spanking new. Another side swipe here. A little bit heavier pattern, a little less of that like ultra type that the last one had. You look at the top, it's a little bit different. A little bit more of the brown coming through up there. Come here, I can't pick. Such a pain in the ass to pick short tails up off of a flat surface. I cannot explain that enough, especially when they're small. Once they get bigger, it's not such a big deal. But this is another one where, you know, the head movements make me a little bit nervous. And once again, it could just be something being fresh and stressed and nervous. But just a little funky, a little different. Cool neck pattern on this animal. Got a little egg gunk back here. Let me see if I can get that off. Yum. Little goo. I give them all a bath when they first hatch, which is just I have a 6-quart tub set up. Put a little water in it, a little bit deeper than they are. And as soon as they come out, I put them in there to wash all the vermiculite and most of the egg goo off. Once in a while, a piece will stick. And they usually do a good job because you put them in the water, they usually thrash around for a second when they first get in the water. And that gets almost everything off. In the past, I've tried to like rinse them under the sink and they hate it. So I figured that was a little bit easier way to do it. Less stress on them, less bloodshed for me. Everybody wins. And so far, so good. This is the first year I've done that. I'm probably going to do that going forward. We got a couple minutes left. I will show you the one blood python that hatched. I've got to go grab him because he's in the snake room. But it looks like we're not going to be seeing those eggs. So bear with me a few seconds. Be right back. This guy does not like me so far. This is the first baby in history to take 2 shots at me while it was inside of its egg. I have hatched, I don't know how many hundreds of short tails. I've had one other one ever even take a shot at me from inside of its egg. But this one took 2. And he meant business. I don't know what his problem is. Angry little shithead. Unappreciative of all the work I do around here, you know? Let me see if he'll even let me get him out here. He's already fucking flipping out, tail wagging. You are a piece of shit. Oh, he's biting the hook. I don't know why he's such a mad baby, but he is. All right, come on. So this is a T positive 007 blood python. Very, very spirited. Really cool side pattern on this animal. I really, really dig what's going on through there. I don't know if you can see it. Let me move this a little. And really, really nice kind of design on his face. It's going to be nice as that starts to turn red. But you can see the huffing and puffing. Just a very defensive animal in general. Some of them just come out mean, some of them come out nervous, some of them come out fantastic. They all seem to calm down in time, but this is definitely one of the more high-strung animals I've had come straight out of the egg. So this animal might take a bit of work. And the fact of the matter is, while most of these animals calm down, there are a few exceptions. You will sometimes get an animal that just you and it are never going to see eye to eye. That is a fact that does happen. 95% of the time it's environmental when one of them is off. Sometimes it's on you. Maybe 95% isn't fair. Let's say 80% of the time, if these animals are real defensive, it's environmental. Another 10 to 15% of the time, it's either a health issue or it's the keeper, and how the keeper is approaching the animal is triggering the animal to feel nervous and defensive. That does happen. And so oftentimes if you're afraid to get bit, that's one of the best ways to get bit, because you're going to send nervous energy to that animal, and the animal senses that, and it doesn't understand that you're just afraid of it. It just understands that chemical feeling or whatever it is they sense, that something's off. And so it triggers them to react as if something's off. Let's see if we can turn this animal a little bit without too much violence. Relax. Getting out of the shot on you there. The white background actually makes this animal pop less than it did with the short tails, because this animal is white, and then with some kind of yellows, and eventually we'll get some pinks on the back. The white actually kind of makes it look like a dirtier color than it really is. A black background would probably show this animal off better. I don't have anything handy that's black that I can show you that. But yeah, this is an animal I'm not even going to bother picking up right now, because it's just clearly so annoyed. Even as it's moving around, it's huffing and puffing, it's getting flat. It's just very, very irritated and very nervous. I did actually pick it up out of the bath to put it in the tub, and it did all right. I missed a comment there, I'm sorry, hang on. Any idea what matching a blue ghost cross side stripe and an ultraviolet gravel might look out? So I did blue ghost to sideswipe once. It was a disaster, absolute wreck of a clutch, and had 10 babies that hatched. One of them is the one that basically killed itself flopping out of the bin and hitting the rack, and then 6 other babies failed to thrive, regurgitation issues. Various issues, did not do well. Especially the really, really blue ghost looking ones, those 2, which were awesome looking animals, just could not hold down food, but every like 3rd meal, and eventually they just didn't make it. So then 3 survived to, past the year mark. I held 1 back that's still here now. I can grab that snake in a second. And then I sold 2 at a discount to some friends once I felt like they were at least established enough after a year or so. So my friend Katie and my friend Mary each got one. Katie had hers for probably about a year, started having digestive issues and rolled. I ended up giving her like a really, really, really good deal on another snake. Even though she had the snake for a year, I still knew going in that those snakes had some kind of issue, and that it was likely that there was going to be a problem. And so I didn't see, why I shouldn't at least do something for her. And then Mary still has the other one, but Mary's has not really grown much. Mine has not really grown much. So let me go grab him. So bear with me a second while I deal with freaking douche fuck over here. Come here. You seem to be a little calmer, but I know it's a false sense of security. Yeah, there it is. There it is. There's the tail wagging. Go back in your tub. Come on. Just need to get a little bit more of your body here. There we go. Whoop, in your tub you go. So let me put this one back. I'll bring that other one out in a second. Ooh, you got averted hemipenes. You are mad, boy. Let me just wipe that water off the table quick. I've got him in my hand. So keep in mind when you see this snake hatched in 2019, which makes that snake 3 years old. You just saw the baby blood python that was on the table. This is a 3-year-old snake. Bigger than that snake, yes, but not anywhere near the size he should be. What I will say though, is this past 3 or 4 months, he's really started to put on size all of a sudden. But he's from the Blue Ghost to Sideswipe clutch. So you can see a lot of the Blue Ghost influence in this animal. I would not consider this animal Sideswipe. Yeah, you have a little bit of kind of what looks like lower expression here, but I don't believe this animal is. There were 2 animals in that clutch that looked a lot more Sideswipe, and of course he could be. I've never seen how the Blue Ghost and Sideswipe interact beyond this one clutch. It's funny too, because I've seen a lot of Blue Ghost stuff with small eyes. I would consider his eyes kind of big. But he's a pretty even-keeled snake for the most part. He looks kind of like murderous right now, but he's not a bad animal at all. You know, he's very food responsive. So if you were to open this animal's tub and just throw your hand in there, he'd probably take a swing at you, just because he's always looking for food. He's got a little bit more of like, if you look at his scales, they're like rougher scales than I would expect typically from a Borneo shorttail outside of like the Sarawaks. But definitely a cool snake indeed. And one of 2 left living from that clutch. So I kind of backed out of the Blue project and decided it really wasn't for me. Which I guess in a sense is a shame, because the fact that it bothers me so much probably makes me a decent person to work with it, because I would make it a point to outcross it as much as I could and see how much we could strengthen things. But I don't know. I just don't like hatching stuff that doesn't thrive. You know, my goal is to make, it keeps taking off here. My goal is to make animals that people can enjoy as pets, that can add value to their breeding projects, and you know, animals with issues are not going to really help that much. Where are you going? Probably like, what is this surface? But yeah, this is like, he's probably put on like a third of the size he's at right now in the past few months. Like all of a sudden he's just started growing after not growing for a long time. He definitely does not like this surface at all. So we're gonna wrap this up. I had hoped one of you guys would jump in here with a super chat and let me show you some babies in the eggs, but I got to keep to my word, and so it doesn't look like that's going to happen today. Thank you guys for stopping in. Appreciate all the likes. Make sure if you haven't hit the like button yet, you do that now. You can always share this video, and later on, if you're watching this video, you don't always have to be here to super chat. Now YouTube allows you to super thanks. Which is basically the same idea. So any video out there that I have, you can do that on if you found value in the video, if you just liked it, if you appreciated seeing the animals, whatever it may be. I'm trying to get behind the camera here so I can see. I don't want him to fall off the table because he's a dope and he will. Yeah, he does look awesome, but with all the issues, like it's just not something I would shoot for again. Can't say that it wouldn't work differently. Could just be a problem clutch, whatever. Issues do happen, but I don't know. It just wasn't worth the risk to me again to work with that stuff. And thank you for sharing. I found your video by searching for blood python on the wild infos. I'll definitely keep in touch. Greetings from Italy. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate that. There's almost 250 videos on the channel, and a lot of them are blood python and short tail oriented. So you'll see a lot of blood and short tail content on here, and definitely stay tuned because these blood pythons are hatching. My side swipe to skunk line clutch is also on like day 62 or 63. So that's going to be starting to pip anytime now. And then also Lilith's clutch is going to start pipping in about 2 weeks or so. And then Sumatra and short tails are coming at the end of August. So a lot of stuff left to hatch yet. I'm going to get him up so he's off this surface. He just does not like it. So thank you guys very much. Thank you to everybody who hit the like button. Thank you to everybody who commented. Thank you to everybody who supports the channel. Appreciate my members most of all. I'm going to go watch my Braves hopefully sweep the Diamondbacks. Sorry to you Diamondbacks fans out there, but we got places to be in October, so you're in the way. Thank you guys. We'll see you soon.